Good evening, Drew.
Sorry, I was a minute or so late there. I
Mm.
was leaving all of the amazing group conversations that I was added to on Skype about all the amazing Bitcoin offers
I
that
was
are
literally
available to
doing the
me.
same thing before you called.
Oh my god, I'm lousy with those messages because I never
Oh,
I usually just like scroll down to where you are
mhm.
and then I call you. But there was a lot of scrolling, and I'm like,
Oh,
I gotta do something about this. I
yeah,
don't know if, like, my information is public or
uh,
what's working.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh,
It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, I before we dive into topics, I have, like, real-time
okay.
thing happening here. So, it's been really cold,
It has been cold. Yes.
and, I my particular type of I don't know if you wanna call it autism, I don't know if you wanna call it ADHD, I don't it's some part of my specialness
Okay.
is sometimes I focus on things a little too much.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. Last year, I decided to replace my front door.
Okay.
Now, why would I do such a thing?
I don't know. Why would you do such a thing?
So my front door, as you've seen, is a door,
Hmm.
as the name implies.
Yeah. Yeah. Turns out.
But there are these glass panels to the left and right of the door.
Yeah.
I like that style of door. It's not frosted glass, it lets in light, it lets me see people, that are there, with my eyes because it's glass. And, my old door, the glass seal was bad on one of the sides,
Okay.
and it was starting to go bad on the other side. So I called some nice men to come out and look at it, and apparently I had multiple people tell me this. Apparently, the company that made my door, because that's like all one piece, the glass, the door, the trim, everything. It was all like one unit. They looked at that and they said, hey, the company that makes this, number one, isn't in business anymore. And two, unlike modern doors that have these glass panels, there's not these little, they're basically screws that you can unscrew, replace the glass, put the screws back in, and then just like kind of, take some silicone or take some caulk and fill in the screw hole where you had to unscrew it and repaint it. Apparently mine was held in with nails and they could maybe fix it, but if they broke the trim, like there would be no way to repair it. So I was like, fuck it, replace the whole thing. And one of the added benefits of that was one, the main reason was mostly energy efficiency, not just, new door hardware and a new thing. I was also really concerned about energy efficiency because the door was drafty. Like it was legitimately drafty.
Hmm.
Um, like in the wintertime when it would get this cold, I have to walk past my front door to get to my bedroom, and I could feel cold air coming in. And my thought process at the time was, well, we're going to get this fixed from a glass perspective so the glass doesn't look foggy all the time when like the temperature changes or the humidity changes or anything like that. My thought was it'll fix that problem, but it'll also help with the draft that comes in through the door seal because my thermostat is not far from my front door. And I only
Oh. Oh.
have
Okay. Yeah. That could be
I
bad. Yeah.
that could be bad, okay? So I spent money to get a new door and have it installed. Not cheap to have a nice front door put on your house. That was an expense, but hey, we're homeowners. That's the love of the game. So here we are with colder weather. And I can't help feel that my furnace is running like a lot. A lot. So now I'm thinking, did I make the problem worse?
Oh.
Did I
Yeah.
fix the
Did you?
problem?
Mhm.
Is this just how much my furnace runs and I'm only now becoming hypersensitive to it, like observability bias territory here? So, I am going to figure this out using the tools available to me
Okay.
because I am a man of science, Paul. I'm a man of science, data science specifically. And as someone who has a Nest thermostat, this is a quote unquote smart thermostat.
True.
The problem is if you want to look at your Nest thermostat history in the app, you only get the last 10 days.
Oh, that's not good.
Now, what's interesting is that if you open that app and you look at the history, it'll tell you how many hours your air conditioning or your furnace ran for a given day. Now, I don't know, and every house is different. Newer houses are obviously more energy efficient than older houses. And there's a lot of different factors like square footage and the size of your furnace and how much air it's capable of moving and what type of windows you have. And what, in my case, I guess what kind of front door I have. But with the temperature as cold as it got yesterday, according to my Nest app, my furnace ran for 10 and a quarter hours. Now,
Okay,
when
that seems high.
it seems a little high. And when I look at the usage history, it's consistent. Like it's every 15 minutes or so it runs, then it stops. Every 15 minutes or so. And then like in the middle of the day, the little bars that show the usage, it starts to space out a little bit more and then it gets colder at night. So it gets a little closer together. And then when we go to bed, the temperature automatically dials down a few degrees. So then it just doesn't run for a while. And then in the morning, it runs a little bit longer to make up the temperature difference. And I can't legitimately tell if it's always been this way, if this is better or this is worse. So I did a little Googling. And because Nest is owned by Google, they got all your data, man. They got all your data.
Oh, okay.
And I've been a Nest customer from the time that we had Nest at our old house. And when we moved into this house, it had a Nest thermostat and it's tied to my account. It was tied to my account at the old place. It's tied to my account at the new place. So I started Googling around and I'm like, hey, is there any way to get all of this data for a longer period of time than just the 10 days in there? And I was directed to a very particular website called Google Takeout. Have you ever heard of this?
I have heard of this. This is the site where you can go and you can export all the data, all the creepy data that Google has collected about you.
Yeah. Now, remember, Nest is owned by Google. So all of this data lives with Google. So like when you go to takeout.google.com, every Google service that you are using or ever have used, or maybe have in some cases even just thought about, is available for you to export. And there are multitudes of, and like services that don't even exist anymore that still retain your data. They're all there. So I went there and by default, like every service is selected. You have to pick like, what do you want to export? How frequently? Do you want this to be a one-time deal? Do you want like an ongoing feed of this data? There's lots of different choices in there. I just kept it simple. I'm like, look, I only want one service. I only want Nest. I'm sure they have like hourly usage or however they partition this data and have it broken down. I'm sure it's in there in some shape or format. So at 5 a.m. this morning, I clicked the button that said, hey, make me an export. And I'm still waiting for it. So,
okay.
So like I can see in the Google Takeout thing, it's like export progress. And it's like, what time was it created? And it says Google's creating a copy of your data from Nest. This process could take a long time, possibly hours or days to complete. You'll receive an email when your export is done. I thought for sure, okay, maybe this takes an hour for their like data pipelines to run, for it to like query all the databases that I'm, all my data stored in. And maybe it needs like de-anonymized, maybe it needs anonymized. Like I'm sure that there is some process that runs that has to like generate all this data. But I fully expected for just one little service like Nest, one of 71 services that I could export my data from, by the way. But it's still not done. And we're, I don't know what, 16 hours later at this point, and it's still not ready. That feels bad. Like I feel like this is going to be bad.
I kind of just want to
have
check
no
all
idea.
the buttons and see what happens.
I have no idea what shape this data is going to come in. I don't know, but I want to be able to look back last year in November or find days with my goal is to find days with similar temperatures that we're having right now, because it has been cold. It has been really cold. It's dipped down into the teens. It's dipped down into the 20s. So I'm genuinely curious, like, is it the same? Is it worse? Do I need to like figure out where the heat goes? Because when I walk around my windows and I sort of hold up my fingers, like I don't feel a draft. I mean, obviously I have those really big windows, but I don't feel cold air coming in anywhere. So I really don't know what's going on here. But again, this is just one of the many ways that I'm broken. Like, I'm probably worrying for nothing. Like my gas bill, serviced by IGS Energy, by the way, just want to throw that out there,
Okay.
uh,
Very nice. Very nice.
is not like outrageous. Like last month was cold, and the furnace ran here and there, but my bill's not outrageous. I mean, it's not a question of I think I'm going to go broke paying my bill, but at the same time, like how frequently do people's furnaces run?
I
And I don't know. I don't think you use Nest anymore, do you?
I have an Eco BE.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of data that can show you.
I don't know. I said let's sign in. I haven't signed into the website for a very long time. So let's do that. Okay, let's see. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I think I have to go to Home IQ. Apparently, I'm at the top 76 for home efficiency.
Wow, amazing for
Uh,
you.
does it say how long it ran? No, it shows me little bar graphs of what it ran. Significant. It's significant today. Schedule.
Okay, like what?
Uh, well, I mean, it ran a bunch of times before 8, a bunch of times between 8 and 12, not so much between 12 and 4, not so much between now and 8. I wish it would just runtime report. Hold on. Let's see. Nope, that's for the whole month. I mean, okay, so my furnace ran 66 hours in November.
Yeah, November was a little mild though. There were some
Yeah.
warm days in November. I'm just looking for like, I'd be curious to see like how long your furnace ran yesterday, which would be Thursday the 12th, because it was really cold yesterday.
I don't know how to do that.
It's got to be there,
It's showing me pretty graphs, but I don't want graphs. I want numbers. I want numbers. Give me
right?
numbers.
Yeah, we're not visual learners.
No, no. Mm. Oh wait, this data only goes to the 10th. Wait, no,
Wait, what?
no. I don't have today's data. No, wait, no, I do. I just gotta. It won't go. It won't go. None of these is showing me the data I want.
Okay, well, like for the data you have, how long did it run on the 10th?
I can't tell you that. I just have.
Okay, all
I
right,
just
Jesus,
have bars.
okay.
I just have bars. I can't. I don't know how many minutes or an hour each of these little orange bars are. There's no.
There's no
Yeah,
capacitive click.
yeah, exactly. It's just. I have this little map of time, and it has an orange bar when the furnace was running and a white bar when the fan was running, because I also run my fan. And it has a graph of the temperature, and I can see little dips of the temperature before the furnace runs, but I don't think it's
What do you set your thermostat at?
72 degrees.
Jesus Christ, it's like a sauna over there.
Most people I know have it at like 76, 78.
Ooh, boy, we're a 68-degree household over here.
Okay. No.
I like it a little chilly.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I want to wear a t-shirt and be comfortable.
I mean, I think that's pretty telling because your house is only a couple years old, and like if you were to look, if somehow the data gods would smile on you, and you told me like your furnace only ran for like 7 hours yesterday, I'm willing to chalk that. I'm willing to chalk up maybe a 3-hour runtime difference to like the age of my house, because my house is like 30 years old.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I don't know how easy this is going to be, but I found a download data for the last week button.
Okay, well that's good.
Okay, I have a CSV.
All right, we love CSV.
No, I'm gonna have to. No, okay, this is gonna take some time because all I have is
Christ.
I have time events.
Oh no.
I have time. Hold on.
Oh, good old IoT data. That's really shocking to me that Ecobee can't be like, hey, I ran this long yesterday.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I guess okay. No, for each event, there is a number of seconds. All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. I don't think I have Excel on my personal Mac, so I'm gonna have to use numbers.
Because why would you?
I'm gonna have to use numbers. Hold on. I have the last 7 days. Hold on. Okay, so you just want the 13th, right?
I want the 12th.
The 12th. Okay, hold on. Cut that. Okay, I think I can do something simple here. I can just go to find the first one that is the 12th.
Okay.
Oh shit! Now which column was it? I am bad at this.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
been a while since you worked with some data,
so
huh?
it's column N. I'm looking. I need column N. All right, so I'm just gonna select a bunch of stuff.
And by the way, I'm sure when I actually get my data from Google, I'm sure it's going to be probably
Oh,
a shit show
oh,
of data that I
absolutely.
got to like figure out the schema and do it. But that's what I do for a living, so I'm
Okay,
sure I can handle it.
so doing some quick math.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so yesterday my furnace ran for 7.18 hours.
Okay. Now, I think what's interesting is, temperature aside, because I feel like furnaces are designed to maintain constant temperature. I'm assuming it probably would have ran the same amount if your thermostat was lower.
I would imagine so. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't
Now,
know. Yeah, yeah.
do you have like smart settings where it like gets colder at night and then revs back up or anything?
We don't do that because we just learned that we don't like it. So
Mm.
or wait
Okay.
or do we did we turn that back on? Hold on. I know where that is in the app. I really don't pay a lot of attention to my furnace outside of the decision to change it from heat to cool.
From heat to
So
cool, yeah.
hold on. Comfort settings. Nope. Uh no, it's one of these. Come on, this app is not good.
I've never heard good things about Ecobee, but Ecobee is the company you pick when you hate Google.
Yeah, that's it. Oh no, we do
Yeah.
turn it down. We do turn it down to 69 nice
Ah, nice.
degrees at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's almost now. What time does it ramp? What time do you have it ramp back up?
6:30.
Okay, so ours ramps at like 4 in the morning, so it's probably a little harder for ours to keep pace because it's colder at that time. I mean, I'm willing to accept. I'm willing to accept a little bit of a delta there of about 3 hours, just based on the age of my house alone. So that makes
Yeah,
me feel a
yeah.
little bit better.
Right, and your house is also bigger than mine. Don't forget that.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah.
What's your square footage?
I don't know, but it's not as much as yours.
Okay.
I can tell just by being inside of it.
Okay. I love it when you're inside of it.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, okay, so this see again, this is how I'm broken, right? Because I sit here and I hear because my office is in the basement
Mhm.
and the furnace is it's not loud, but I can tell when it's running.
Yeah.
So I sit here and I'm like, man, is that running too much? Now it's not short cycling. It doesn't sound like it's not like my furnace is broken. It is blowing hot air and it gets the temperature up. But I just feel like if there was something I could figure out, like is there a part of my windows or something somewhere that it is just bleeding energy? And honestly, like it still feels cold in like our bedroom because our bedroom is there's no floor above it. It's just this big vaulted ceiling. It's
Yeah.
exterior walls. Like I could put my hand on the wall and the wall is cold.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's insulation, but like our living room isn't cold. Our kitchen isn't cold. I mean, there are definitely colder areas of my house. So all of this to say is this is one of those classic overthinking Drew scenarios where it's like, should I worry about this or is this just the way it works? And it sounds like maybe it's just the way
It
it
might just be
works.
the work. It's cold. It's cold right now. It's
It
cold.
is cold right now.
27,
Yeah.
27 degrees outside right now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like on Monday, it got a little warmer. It got back up like the 50 or whatever. Like my furnace only ran for like 2 hours. Like,
Yeah.
it's just when it gets cold like that, I mean, furnace run more. Number go up.
Number go up.
Number go up. Okay, so all right, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail
No, you're
like
fine.
the whole first 20 minutes. If you're listening at home and you hate us, tell us how much your furnace runs. Write us and tell us how much your furnace runs.
Oh,
You were gone this week.
I was in Las Vegas.
Yep, you were there for a big boy conference.
Big boy
for
conference.
big boy
Yes.
conferences for big boy decision makers. So tell
Mhm.
tell us about your trip.
Oh, it was good. Outside of, just flying being a you know, not fun experience. But like the flight there was absolutely fine. I traveled with a colleague of mine. We stayed at the Palazzo, which is part of the Venetian resort. It's absolutely just gorgeous there. Uh, we ate some good food. We played some craps. That's my game, craps. I left Vegas up $400. So I mean,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, again, like I said, it's not life changing, but anytime you can
Feels
walk out,
good.
I think you can walk out of there with more money than you came in with. It's good. Yeah.
Yep.
I played my crap system and it did pretty well for me. So,
Oh, are you willing to talk about this system? Because it
dude,
sounds like it's a foolproof way to make money.
it's not. I mean, it's still gambling, but I mean, I don't know if understand the game of craps.
I do.
Okay, right. So I basically just do, obviously the pass line bet. I put odds on everything. I'll make a cum line bet, which I just think is the funniest thing because it's craps. It's just the best word. Just say crap.
Yeah.
You say cum. It's great.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
and I usually play like three or four. Like I'll make like three different cum line bets. So I'll have four numbers going, each with odds. And yeah, it worked. It worked for me. It worked for me. Uh, we went to the Sphere to
Okay.
see postcards from Earth.
Uh-huh.
So I would say if you're in Vegas, you should go to the Sphere. It is.
I
it
agree.
is- It is. Have you been there?
So I'll tell my story when you're done. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So I'm sure it was the same for you. Like your time to get in gives you like 45 minutes to explore the atrium. I'm using quotes on this, which is basically just a cool looking space with holograms and these robots you can talk to, and they'll talk back to you. And I'm
Uh-huh.
sure that would have been really impressive 18 months ago.
Yeah.
It is not very impressive now in the age of generative AI.
Yes.
But the we saw postcards from Earth. It was good. It was a good experience. It's fun. The screen is really really big. It's really really loud. Your butt vibrates.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the conference was great. It was in the Venetian's little conference area there. The food was the best I've ever had at a conference.
Oh.
Yeah, the service
Was
was
it
good.
like buffet style stuff?
It was, but they had like tons of different like lines to go in, so you never had to wait. Even with like 3,000 people, you never had to wait more than a couple minutes to get food. There was just like hundreds of staff people just kind of like watching everything. It's like, oh, the potatoes is only halfway full. Time to put new potatoes in there. So like everything was always full and hot. Yeah. The I felt bad. So okay, so we're flying back, and I don't have TSA pre-check. I probably should do it at some point, but I just haven't done it. So I had to slum it with the pours in the regular TSA line,
Mm-hmm.
and I take my shoes off and I put all my bags and my backpack in the bins, and I'm going through, and I see my backpack. Like you see, there's two lines that comes through. There's the everything's fine, you're gonna get to your flight,
Oh.
and then there's the nope, your bag's gonna have to be opened line.
Yep.
And I'm about 5 back in that line, and I look up, and the person at the front of the line, it was a family with the new little baby, and they had it looked like 100. It probably wasn't 100, but it looked like 100 bags of breast milk.
Yeah.
And this poor old man who was working at this particular spot, he didn't do every, but he probably did like a quarter of them, where he would grab a bag, he would make the mother open the bag. He would take a Q-tip. He wouldn't go inside, but once it was open, he would kind of just take the Q-tip and rub it around.
Oh,
And then he
man.
had to waddle about like 15 steps because he's old and he can't move very good, and put the put the Q-tip in a machine, and it would just go then he'd give a green light, and he would throw it away, and he would go do another one. Like he didn't even have the thought of, hey, maybe while the machine's doing something, I should go start the next one.
No. You don't understand. They have procedures.
Yes, yeah.
They're not allowed to do that.
And I watched like the manager just walk over and look at him and not help at all. So yeah, it was fun. That kind of slowed things down a little bit. But still everything flew just fine. I took 3 key pieces of technology with me, and they were spectacular.
All right.
I traveled with my iPad Pro with cellular, the big boy, the 14 inch, whatever it is. Great device. I could do work on it. I could do entertainment on it. Having cellular was great when I didn't want to, like, it couldn't get, or I didn't trust the Wi-Fi. I had purchased a pair of Sonos Ace noise canceling headphones.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have links.
Okay.
And I want to say that they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
We mentioned them in passing, and we weren't dismissive of it. We were just like, yeah, they have those now.
Yeah. I got them on sale. They're currently actually still on sale. They're only $349 right now, which is still expensive, but you know, what are you gonna do? They sound great. The noise canceling is really good. They do have a strong clamp force. Not as bad as the AirPods Pro. Like, it didn't give me a headache, but they really do hug your ears. But actually, I think that helps with blocking noise out, because the noise canceling was pretty good. And I also traveled with my beloved, my brand new Anbernic RG 40XXV. I played some Game Boy Advance games and the Super Nintendo games. It's a great little device. It's great. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, no complaints there. No complaints.
Okay.
So, yeah. It was a
good trip then.
It was a good trip. Yeah.
Now, how many days were you there?
We flew in Monday, got there Monday night, was there Tuesday and Wednesday, and then left Thursday afternoon and got back. Like, I got home.
So Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. So like 3.5 days.
Yeah. And I got home like last night around midnight.
Okay. That's pushing a long time in Vegas.
And yeah, it was really just like 2 full days, right? Because the evening we got there, all we wanted to do was get something to eat and go to bed. So they had 2 days of the conference and 2 evenings to entertain ourselves. And then the next day, you know, wake up, eat breakfast, pack your shit up, and go to the airport. So yeah. Really two meaningful days in Vegas, which was, you know, it was enough. It was enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
It was enough.
It's enough.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you were in Vegas before this?
It might have been like 6 years ago. Yeah.
So, I just remember that I traveled to Vegas a lot, like 15 years ago, like a lot, like once every like 4 or 5 weeks, I would have to go to Vegas just for a few days. And I have really vivid memories of going to Vegas with coworkers and my boss. And after doing work all day, and that we had like a facility that wasn't too far from the airport there, which itself is not far from the Strip, we would go back to our hotel, we would change, and we would just sort of amble around. We would walk to different casinos. We would walk to different, you know, places to eat or get a drink or something. The Strip felt very walkable. I don't think the Strip is walkable anymore.
So I'm just gonna outside of going to the Sphere, I never left the resort.
Yeah, and I think that's what some of these places, some of the more modern places, go for now. But that was a thing you would do, because like within a block of each other, you've got the Venetian, you've got the Bellagio, you have Caesars, you have Treasure Island, New York, Paris. Like those when I was there, those hotels were still pretty new.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the newer resorts have moved a little further north up the Strip. So like the Fontainebleau, Resorts World, the Wynn, some of those places are just extravagant as well. And they're further up the Strip away from sort of the hustle and bustle of the places that were popular back, 10, 15 years ago. And those are and by the way, like Venetian, Bellagio, places like that, like still great. Like still great
Oh
places to
yeah,
stay. Like they're not
it was
they,
great. Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
they haven't lost their luster. It's just the way that they've organized like the walking paths around those places are just so vastly different than I remember. And everything smells like weed. Everything smells like weed when you go outside.
Yeah, I did smell. We did catch a whiff walking to the Sphere and back. So yeah,
And
yeah.
I
Which is
don't
odd
begrudge
because
it.
there's no place on the strip that sells it. So
Mm,
so I was I did my research.
okay.
So there were, but since technically you're not allowed to use it any like in any of the places you can stay there, they move them all out, and now all you get is people that say that like sell like CBD and
Right.
other stuff on the strip.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was there, we had our big like company kickoff for our fiscal year last January. That's the last time I was there, and I hadn't been to Vegas in 4 or 5 years since the last time I was there, and it was just a vastly different experience, especially on that section of the strip right there, like all the way from the MGM on the corner to the Venetian. It just felt like a different vibe. Not dangerous, but definitely more crowded, definitely more cramped, and it just wasn't designed for walking like it used to be. I don't know. That's the part that really kind of threw me for a loop. Now, regarding the Spear,
Hmm.
I did not see a show at the Spear.
Oh, okay.
I just kind of went over there and hung out because I didn't have a lot of time when I was there to book it. Like if I had ditched some of the, mandatory fun that we were
Got it.
supposed to do
Yeah.
that night, and some people did, let me be clear. I was not one of the bad kids. I was there I was there for all the mandatory fun. But I went over there and kind of walked around, and you're right. Like I was able to get into the atrium without buying a ticket. I don't know if that was your experience.
No, no. I wonder if they have it open like in between shows, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
maybe.
it was like so we had to like wait outside for our time to start, and then they let us in, and they're like, "You have 45 minutes to explore the atrium," and we're like, after 2 minutes, I'm like, "I'm done. Let's go get a snack and go to our seat."
I mean,
Again,
it felt weird.
I'm sure it would have been really exciting 18 months ago.
Yeah, it was weird because when I went over there, it was kind of like midday, and I think they did have shows. So I was kind of shocked that I could just kind of walk in.
Hmm.
Like people looked at me, but like nobody stopped me.
Oh, okay.
Right? I just kind of walked in, I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, well, you know, it is
Hmm.
what it is." I would love to see a show there though. I have friends that live in Vegas, and they legitimately like they don't go to the strip very often outside to maybe go to a fancy restaurant, but they actually will go see concerts or some of the shows at the Sphere. They say it's amazing.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
now you've been to IMAX theaters, right?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I'm overwhelmed in an IMAX theater.
I mean, I would say the Sphere is 4 times bigger.
I mean, at least.
Yeah. Well, so when you get inside the theater, not all of it is like it's not like 360.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah. It's just a really big, oddly shaped screen. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if ChatGPT knows. Oh no,
Oh, you coward.
how much bigger is the screen in the Sphere compared to an IMAX? Let's look. Okay. It's doing a bunch of math. Oh, no. Okay. No, all right. Okay. According to ChatGPT, I was wrong. The Sphere screen is about 42.7 times bigger than a
Okay,
standard
yeah, I was
IMAX
gonna
screen.
say I've seen pictures of there,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks pretty massive in there.
The Sphere screen is approximately 160,000 square feet, with an IMAX screen is typically under 4,000 square feet. So
Awesome.
yeah. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Yeah, what a great job it did.
It did.
Thanks, robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you flew what, Southwest?
No, Delta.
Oh, good for
Which
you.
meant
So-
that meant layovers in Atlanta, and if I go back to this conference next year, I'm gonna get a direct flight because
Okay.
layovers are for chumps.
Okay. So the last thing I would say is TSA pre-check. the only reason I have it, I have that and global entry only because of the credit card that I have. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was like a benefit that I got. Like I basically if I bought it with a credit card, my money was refunded.
Got it.
That was
Okay.
kind of the deal. Um it's like nice 50% of the time.
Got.
First of all, I don't know what clear is, but it's like the very essence of capitalism in the airport.
Yeah.
It is literally speed running. You pay to speed run security.
Yeah.
Like you get to go in front of the people who actually did like government documentation and everything versus somebody who just like swiped a card and gets to go in front of you. It just feels gross to me that that's how that works. But hey, I mean, money talks, I guess. And there's been times, Paul, it really depends on the airport. Like some airports make you go out of your way to go through the TSA checkpoint at a very specific part of the airport. I'm looking at you, Chicago Midway. Or in Vegas, I don't know what your experience was coming home, but when I was there last, like the TSA pre-check was on one side of the upstairs place, but if you went to the other side, you were kind of shit over the luck.
Yeah.
So you have to follow the signs very carefully. And Vegas is one of those airports where I feel like sometimes it's faster to not go through TSA pre-check.
So honestly, my colleague has TSA pre-check, and so even with the whole breast milk fiasco, I was maybe 15 minutes behind him.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
if that hadn't have happened, we probably would have gotten through at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. So it's nice. I'm not going to say that it isn't nice, and I like that you don't have to like take your laptop out of your bag. You have to take your shoes off. They're a little more lenient on that stuff. You don't have to go through the thing that's like a cyclotron most of the time. You can just go through regular metal detector. I I like it, and it works, but only in certain airports I found. I would say the better investment out of the two is global entry because if you've ever had to come back into the country
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you have like several very large airliners offloading people that are trying to go through immigration and customs, that is a cheat code. Like global entry is an absolute cheat code. So if you ever have an opportunity to get that, it's just a huge pain in the ass to do. Like if you thought getting TSA pre-check was kind of a pain in the ass, the only way you can do global entry is you have to schedule a meeting at an airport to do it. Or if you were like me, I was coming back from Israel for work. And if you are entering the country and you are like pending global entry, you can actually do your entry stuff at the airport as you're like returning home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like my picture, I look like death because I had just gotten off like a I don't know, like a 14-hour flight from Israel landing in JFK and or no, it was Detroit. Landed in Detroit after like this 14-hour flight from Israel. And you know me, I don't sleep on planes for reasons
Yeah.
and like my eyes are all like sunken and it's just like I look like shit, but I think I must have answered all the questions right that he asked me. So
Oh.
yeah, because you have to have like your passport and all that stuff with you, which I did. I mean, because I was coming back to the country.
Right.
Yeah. Well, good man. I'm glad you had a good trip.
Yeah.
Hopefully hopefully the rest of the month is nice and calm for you.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. So I bought my Mac Mini.
I'm very happy for you.
It is pretty snappy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, look, there's not a lot to say about it. I mean, it's a Mac. I got it all updated. Trying to think. The only problem setting it up that I had was I didn't buy a new Magic Mouse and I didn't buy a new keyboard for it. So the way I have it set up right now is it replaced the Raspberry Pi that was on my desk as sort of like my quote unquote work coding computer.
Okay.
And what I did is on my desk right now, I have two monitors. They're both, one of them is, no, actually, no, I take that back. They're both DisplayPort, like regular DisplayPort to my main like Windows computer. But my monitors also have HDMI out, or HDMI in. So I took an HDMI cable from my Mac Mini to my other monitor, and I just flipped between the different, inputs to flip over to the Mac. Works great. That keyboard that I talked about, a while, it's probably been a few episodes now.
Yeah.
That supports Bluetooth.
Nice. Okay.
It has Mac mode. wonderful, and I have a spare Magic Mouse. The only problem was none of that stuff would connect to the Mac when I first booted it up. So I had to like rummage through all my storage containers to find a USB-C to USB-A hub and then plug everything in, and then it worked. But it was just like, I don't know how normal people are supposed to do that if you're not buying all those peripherals at the same time. Like when it was asking you to like, when it's got like the hello, screen when it first boots up, I don't know how you're supposed to pair a Bluetooth mouse right there.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's a good.
Like I said,
yeah.
I had to plug it in.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, if I plug it in, surely, the Magic Mouse is smart enough to be like, oh, you want to use me with you? I'll just pair you. No. Like I had to leave it. And because of where it plugs in, you can't really use it as a mouse when it's plugged in.
Yeah.
So I had to go. I had to go find like a regular old wired mouse to plug into it for a while, which felt kind of gross. But now it's over sitting on the corner of my desk. It's barely in my cone of vision. I got it all set up.
Mm-hmm.
I got all my accounts linked and all the stuff installed that I need, and it seems pretty snappy. I'm only running it on a 4K monitor, which is less Ks than you have.
2 whole less Ks. Yep.
2 whole less Ks than you have. The default sort of text size was a little too big, so I toned it down one. I don't know if that's going to have any impact on performance or anything.
It should not. There's plenty of GPU performance for making.
That's what I thought.
For doing desktop stuff. So
yeah. I mean,
the
HDMI cable, it recognizes the monitor at 120 hertz, and I can drag windows around, and it clearly is fine. The keyboard feels good. The Magic Mouse, obviously, I love with spaces and everything like that. So, my goal is to use this as like a little productivity computer because, I mean, my Windows computer is just full of games. Let's just call it what it is.
It's a gaming PC.
But I do have a serious question for you.
Okay.
If one were to start learning how to code on a Mac, obviously Xcode is the IDE of choice? ?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You don't use VS Code or anything?
I imagine you could, but the amount of hoops you would have to get through. I mean, Apple intends, if you're going to be writing apps for the Apple ecosystem, you use Xcode.
You got to use Xcode. Yeah, I just assume because the compiler.
Yeah, but it's free, so there's that. You don't have to pay money for it. You just have to download an obscenely huge file, and it takes like forever to abstract.
So I guess, and you don't have to answer this right this minute, but as somebody who kind of understands programming and kind of understands object-oriented programming, do you have like a preferred tutorial? It's like baby's first Mac app that would help me.
I would recommend. Hold on, I got a link coming in here hot
because you inspired me.
I would recommend 100 Days of Swift. Of course, you don't have to do it in 100 days. You can do it in less time or more time. It doesn't matter. 100 Days of Swift on hackingwithswift.com. There's 2 versions. Okay, actually, you know what? This actually, I would actually recommend. I'm going to actually recommend this one instead. It's the more modern version of the 100 Days of Swift. It's 100 days with Swift UI. You're gonna learn Swift. You're gonna spend 14 days learning Swift, and then you're gonna spend some time learning Swift UI, which is Apple's new modern, like declarative UI framework. And then you're gonna do more stuff like data. I haven't done all of it, but I have done like individual little pieces as I go through and need, like, Google takes me to these things like, oh, okay. Yeah. So,
okay.
That's what I would recommend. And it's totally,
this is
free.
This is free.
It's totally free. Yes. There is like courses you can do that aren't free, that it costs more, but like, this is kind of like his like loss leader. You can just kind of, do the whole thing for free, and then hopefully you like it enough to give him money. I never have. You'd be surprised about how many times like you'll go and say like how do I do this thing in Swift UI, and it will come back to this website. And it's just a free article that he has. So
Okay.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like it starts with kind of the basics,
It
similar
does.
to how I
Mhm.
teach people Python, right? Like start
Mhm.
with the absolute basics. Like
Mhm.
here's a variable. Does it give you any guidance on how to like properly set up your IDE? Or is
Uh,
that kind of brain dead?
honestly, Xcode kind of just works out of the box.
Okay, not like,
No,
not like Visual
no,
Studio,
no,
right? Which
no,
is like configure NuGet and configure
no,
this and
no,
set up these different .NET packages.
no.
Like,
You won't have any of that. It may cover. I don't think it does. I don't think it even covers like the Swift package manager. It's not hard to figure out. But no, it's like the only thing you have to do is once you get Xcode and you have it installed, uh, you have like if you want to do like iOS or watch development, you have to download those particular like SDKs separately. And if you want to run like older versions on like the simulator, you have to download each one of those separate. So,
mhm.
but Xcode is, I mean, so as someone who has written software professionally for a part of his career, it's not as good as like Visual Studio. Like not I'm not talking Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is
Right.
great, but compared to like a full-fledged IDE, it ain't got nothing. A Visual
Mhm.
Studio is top tier, and then I would put Xcode like right underneath that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like the debugger, the fact that you can do
Yeah,
extensions and all
yeah,
that other stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It's just it's you set a breakpoint. You hit Command R for run because of course it's a Mac, and it runs and it launches in the simulator. You pick whatever device you want. Now I think if you want to run it on device, Mac development doesn't cost anything. I think iPhone development, if you just use the simulator, is free. There is a point where you may have to pay for the Apple developer privilege. Yeah. How much does that cost? I think it's like $100 a year. Apple developer cost. Yeah. $99 a year. Yeah. But yeah, Xcode. It's good. You can get it from the App Store. You can download it from developer.apple.com. There's also a great, if you want to get into betas, there's a great app called Xcodes, which allows you to manage multiple versions of uh, a visual of Xcode at the same time. So if you want to be a big beta boy like me, yeah,
Mhm.
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've been wanting to do it,
yeah,
and that's something that I might invest a little time in for just for my own sort of curiosity to see what I can kind of hack together.
yeah. Swift is both a really elegant language and a really dumb language at the same time.
Okay.
So
I mean, there are several podcasts that seem to bemoan it. So,
yeah, I mean, it's better than
but
Objective
those
C.
people are doing
Yeah,
weird things
yeah,
that I'm not sure you're supposed to do with it.
yeah. I mean, they keep pushing it, and like I think the big challenge everyone has is they've really kind of like tightened down their concurrency model. So if you're doing stupid shit, stuff that used to like you're probably going to be fine most of the time doing it the stupid way. Now the compiler's like, no, fuck you, no. That has a chance of being bad, therefore you can't do it at all. I guess, which is good in a way, but it's a learning curve. Everyone's kind of trying to figure out how to do concurrency. But one of the nice thing is if you kind of just like with me and my project I'm not ready to talk about yet. I kind of just started with it, and anytime you do something stupid, like it points it out, and you're like, oh, okay, I just won't do it that way, and I don't have like a legacy code base to have to clean up. So,
Mm.
yeah, yep. And I actually really do like Swift UI. It's a good UI framework. It's not as full featured as AppKit, but it's good. It's good. I think it's easier to learn. I really enjoyed frameworks like React and things like that, and it's very similar to. Comes from that kind of vein of UI
Mhm.
languages. So yeah, yeah. 100 Days of Swift UI, baby.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you for that.
Yep.
I'm bookmarking that right now,
Mhm.
and I'm going to go check that out.
Cool.
Okay, just a couple quick topics to round us out. So, video game awards things happened the other night.
Mm-hmm.
There were like cool announcements and everything like that. But not to
Yes.
put you on the spot, what was your favorite game this year?
Uh, can I have two?
Sure.
Diablo 4, obviously. Uh,
Okay.
like I got my PlayStation. PlayStation does like a wrapped thing every year. I like 80% of the time I was on my PlayStation, I was playing Diablo 4. I put a lot of hours into that game. But outside of that, Astrobot. What a
Oh,
great,
okay.
fun little game that was. It was
Okay.
absolutely delightful. I didn't get all the collectibles or the platinum trophy, but I beat the main, like, the main levels, and it was just absolutely enjoyable. Especially as someone
Okay.
who's a PlayStation fan, it was like it was great. It was great.
Okay.
What about you, Drew?
So I technically have two as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in terms of like a game that came out of nowhere for me and completely ruined my life for about 3 months, and that's Balatro.
Okay. I
I
tried play.
know. I
I
know.
when it came out in iOS, I tried it again, and you know what? I didn't even get past the tutorial.
Yeah, I totally understand
I
that. I mean, I have
bounced
other
so
people that
hard.
bounce hard off it.
Yeah.
But the dopamine hit you get when you have a good run going and everything's working the way you want it to work, it is a nice feeling to chase. And the fact that it's like poker adjacent and all the cool stuff you can do with it, I really enjoy it. It's still installed on my computer. It's installed on my Steam Deck. I don't have it for mobile because I would never sleep. I would absolutely never sleep if I had it on my phone.
Oh.
But more recently, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Stalker 2 is my
Mm.
game of the year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's one of those two things. It fluctuates back and forth between Balatro because what I like about Balatro is if I have like a quick 10 minutes where I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna play around with Balatro, I can do that. I mean, that's how that game is really meant to be played. Just little bite sizes when you have the time. It's a little brain worm that you start thinking about, like, based on the deck you're playing and the rules you're trying to do. But Stalker 2 has been delightful. The plot is absolutely gibberish at this point. I'm about 40 hours in. I still have not beaten the game. I'm really, really enjoying it. They've done an amazing job of post-release jank patching.
Good.
There
Okay.
are there are still, and again, if this was my first Stalker game, I would probably be pissed, but I've played enough of these games to know when you're supposed to do something that the game doesn't tell you. So I've done this enough that, like, if I hit what seems like a brick wall, I know I'm not I know I'm doing something wrong, and I have to take a step back and try to glean what the game is giving me. So that's my way of saying that that's the kind of stuff you have to account for with a game like this. But even the points of the game that feel like a walking simulator where you really have to, there's no other way to fast travel or get to where you need to go. The very atmosphere that you get from just walking through that game and seeing the different, because everything in that game is completely handcrafted. The entire map, the entire zone is completely handcrafted with care. Like, it's very thoughtful about how it reveals things to you, and it wants you to explore. It wants you to feel like you're in this post-Soviet decay place where literally everything is trying to kill you. Um, the combat is fun, not overbearing. The survival mechanics are there, but again, not overbearing. The characters and the voice acting, both the Ukrainian and the English version, are pretty good. I feel very confident recommending that game to people if you like a more moody Fallout, I guess would be how I would explain it. But it's very fun. So when you get the time to play it, you absolutely should.
Yeah. Honorable mention goes to Path of Exile too. That game is going to consume me
Oh, it's
for
got you, huh?
yeah. I actually started a new character today because I kind of like I played a little bit before I left, and I kind of like ran into some roadblocks. So I probably have watched more YouTube videos at this point uh, than I've actually played the game. It is complicated. It is heavy. It is hard. but it is exactly my shit. Like it's
Okay.
yeah. So I'm kind of starting
Okay.
over and going slower and focusing more on like defense and survivability, and I'm making better progress. I mean, I still die, man. You still die, but
Mhm.
yeah. Like all the I have to unlearn all of my Diablo skills because mostly at this point Diablo was like make a build, stand still, kill all the monsters. And like if you stand still, even like basic monsters will like one shot you. Like you just if you see a red glowing circle on the ground, get the fuck off of it.
Right. Don't stand in the fire. That's World of Warcraft 101.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, in fact, as soon as I'm done talking to you, I'm gonna go play some more.
All right.
Oh,
Well, then let me get to my last
okay.
topic.
What the fuck is this?
And okay, so I want you to get the misconceptions out of your mind right now.
Okay.
Okay. So as I mentioned, my parents were up here for Thanksgiving, and I don't get to see them very much. But the fact that they were here, they also decided to give me, my birthday presents early because they won't be here for my birthday. They're not coming back up, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get down to see them around Christmas time. So my mom found this. Now, Paul, do you know what we need more of?
AI?
We need more AI, Paul.
Yeah.
We need AI in everything.
Yeah. That's what I learned at my conference.
Yep. Now, here's the thing though. When it's done right, I like it. Like I don't think everything needs a chatbot. I don't think we need AI generated assets for every single thing in our lives these days. I'm sick of LinkedIn posts with very clearly bad AI art. Facebook is basically 90% AI content at this point, where it's not even trying to hide the fact that people are manipulating other people with like fake pictures all over the place. I think it's out of control. I think it's gross. I think it's disgusting. But I also think AI has very clever use cases that I
Okay.
think are interesting. And that's what I want to talk to you about. For
Okay.
my birthday, my mother bought me a solar powered, AI enabled bird feeder.
Okay.
All right. So I just put the link in there.
Okay.
And it's made by a company called OnlyFly.
Oh, cute.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. This thing fucking rocks.
Okay.
Okay. I like burbs. If
Herbs.
you if
Okay.
you if you think that birds are real, which we're not sure, because birds might not be real. But if you think birds are real and you like looking at birds, this thing fucking rocks. So what is this? So this is a bird feeder, and the bird feeder has a smart camera in it. So it sits on your Wi-Fi network. And like everything in our fucking lives these days, it has an app. Now, the app is very interesting because if a bird lands on the bird feeder and a bird is sitting there, munching on the sweet little treats that you leave it, it takes a picture, it runs it through a recognition algorithm for birds and says, you had a blue tit warble on your
Mm-hmm.
bird feeder.
Mm-hmm.
And like the facial expressions of the bird, I guess you can call it that, depending on the angle that it gets the picture, are pretty fun.
Okay.
Um, it's pretty good. And this particular model has like the roof of the bird feeder, so the little burbs don't get wet if it's raining. It's
Oh,
solar powered,
cute.
so it can keep the camera charged because it has like a little battery in it, and it's got a cable that runs from the solar powered part of the roof to the camera. And then when you're putting it together, it comes with all these little accoutrements where if you want to put like a little water dish on it, you can. If you want to put a hummingbird feeder on the stand, you can. Um, it's very, very well built. It comes with a lot of different mounting accessories to do it with. Um, I got everything set up for it. It's just been too cold for me to go and actually like mount it where I want it to officially be. Once it warms up this weekend, I'll probably go out and mount it and actually get it into production out there. But my mom loves it. She's got one of these things, and when I was down visiting her in Florida last time, she was showing it to me, and I was actually kind of when she first told me about it, I sort of had the same reaction as you did, like, okay, what is this? But it actually works pretty well. It actually works pretty well. Now like, they're pretty upfront what they do with the data, because like, obviously, it has to take pictures and send
Mhm.
pictures to a server.
Yeah.
So, like, don't point this bird feeder, like, into your bathroom. Like, don't let it see you naked. Like,
Yeah,
use some
okay.
common sense with any other smart device you might have. But, like, for me, it's going to go at the corner of my deck where I have some poles where I string lights. So I'm gonna, like, try to angle it a little bit so that the birds don't poop all over my deck. But I'm gonna, like, put it there behind some trees where it's basically gonna be looking at my deck, and it will not hopefully be able to see into, like, one of my patio doors, and it won't be looking at my neighbor's house. It won't be looking at the roads. It won't, like, trigger all the time from, like, the cars. So it's it was really easy to set up. It was really easy to build. It seems like it's built to last. It's designed, for the elements, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's a birdhouse or a
Yeah.
bird feeder.
Birdhouse. Yeah.
And like I said, the app's pretty slick. And if you like birds and you like feeding birds and you want to be able to like get pictures of the birds that are come to your little nest there, it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good. Really neat gift idea. So
Okay.
just here to say that this thing's pretty cool. And I'll have I'll once I start getting some bird pictures, I'll text them to you.
I cannot wait for
Yeah.
all the burbs.
For all the burbs.
Oh.
Okay. So you're tired. You were in Vegas all week. We talked about a lot of shit. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. So you can check out our website, doingtheirbest.com. You can find show notes, links, social stuff, anything you'd want, as long as it's related to this website or related to this podcast. I'm going to fix that in post. And hey, thanks for listening.